1 Samuel 17, Act 1. Follow along, people. Spread the truth. One chapter at a time, one song at a time. Yeah. We got this.
A-Star.
Y'all got us.
Now the Palestine gathered together, them armies in battle. And were gathered together at Soka, which belonged to Jehudah, and pitched between Soka and Azekah and Aphek and Damam. Yeah. And Shaul and the men of Israel were gathered together and pitched by the valley of Elah. And set the battle array against Palestine.
And Palestine stood on a mountain on one side, but Israel stood on a mountain on the other side. And there was a valley between them. And there went out a champion of the clan of Palestine, named Goliath of Gath, whose height was 6 cubits and a span. And he had a helmet of brass upon his head, and he was armed with a coat of mail. And the weight of a coat was 5,000 shekels of brass. And he had greaves upon his legs, and a target of brass between his shoulders. And the staff of his spear was like a weaver beam, and his spear's head weighed 600 shekels of iron. And one bearing the shield went before him. And he stood and cried unto the armies of Israel, then said unto them, Why are you come out to set your battle in array? Am I not a Palestine, and your servants to Shaul? Choose a man for you and let him come down to me. Come down to me. If he able to fight with me and to kill me, then we will be your servants. But if I prevail against him and kill him, then y'all shall be my servants and serve us. You heard like, and the Palestine said, I defy, yeah, the armies of Israel this day. Give me a man that we may fight together. And Shaul and Israel, those words of Palestine, they were dismayed and greatly afraid. Act 2.
A-Star.
Here comes David.
Now David was the son of Ephraim of Beit Lechem and Yehudah, whose name was Yeshai, and he had 8 sons. And the men went among Manford and old man the days of Shaul. And the 3 eldest sons of Yeshai went and followed Shaul to the battle. And the names of his 3 sons that went to battle were Eliab, the firstborn, and the next unto him was Abinadab, and the third was Shema. And David was the youngest. And the 3 elders followed Shaul. But David went and returned from Shaul to feed his father's sheep and Beit Lechem. And Palestine drew near morning and evening. The presence set himself for 40 days. And Yeshai said unto David his son, Take for your brethren on empire of his parched grain, and these 10 leaves. Return to the camp to your brethren, and carry these 10 cheeses unto captain of their thousands. And look how the brethren fare, and take their pledge. Now Shaul and they and all the men of Israel were in the valley of Elah, fighting for Palestine. Yeah. And David rose up early in the morning and left in the sheep with the keeper. Yeah, Act 3, take him home, David. And David rose up early in the morning and left the sheep with the keeper, and took and went as Yeshai had commanded him. And he came to the trench as the host was going forth to the fight, and he shouted for the battle. For Israel and Palestine had put the battle in array, army against army. And David left his carriage in the hand of the keeper carriage, and ran into the army and came, saluted his brethren.
As he talked with them, then behold, there came up the champion, Palestine of Gath. Goliath by the name, out of the armies of Palestine. I'ma spoke according to the same words that David heard them. And then all of men, Israel, when they saw their man fled from him and were so afraid. And the men of Israel said, have you seen this man that has come up? Surely to defy Israel is a come up, and shall be that man who kills him, the king will enrich him with great riches and will give him his daughters and make his father's house free, Israel. And David spoke to the man that stood by him, saying, what shall be done that the man kills this Palestine and takes the reproach from Israel? Israel for who is uncircumcised Palestine that should defy the armies of living Elohim. And the people answered him after the manner, saying, so shall it be done to the man that kills him. That kills him. Yeah, let's continue on. This doesn't stop here. It does not stop here. Act 4.
I stop.
Yeah, ready. Here we go. And Eliab, his elder brother, heard when he spoke unto the men. And Eliab's anger was kindled against David. And he said, why came you down hither? And with whom have you left those few sheep in the wilderness? I know that your pride and the wicked of your heart, for you are come down that you might see the battle. And David said, what have I done? Has there not caused? And he turned from him toward another and spoke after the same manner. And the people answered him against after the former manner. And when words heard which David spoke, they rehearsed them for Shaul and sent for him. And David said to Shaul, let no man's heart fail because of him. Your servant will go and fight with the Palestine. And Shaul said to David, you are not able to go against this Palestine to fight with him. For you are but the youth, and he a man of war from his youth. And David said unto Shaul, your servants kept his father's sheep. And there came a lion, wolf, and a bear, and took a lamb out the flock. I went out after him, and I smote him and delivered him out of his mouth. And when he arose against me, I caught him by his beard, and I smote and I slew him. Your servant slew both the lion and the bear, and the circumcised Palestine shall be as one of them, seeing he is defied the armies of the living Elohim. David said, Moab, Yah delivered me out the paw of the lion and out the paw of the bear. He will deliver me out the hand of Palestine. And Shaul said unto David, go, and Yah be with you.
Act 5. Let's get it. Here it comes. The moment you guys all been waiting for. And Shaul armed David with his armor, and he put a helmet of brass upon his head. Also he armed him with a coat of mail. And David girded like, I don't need that. His sword upon his armor, and he essayed to go, for he had not probed it. And David said unto Shaul, I cannot with these, for I have not probed them. David put them off, get them off me. And he took his staff in his hand, and chose him 5 smooth stones out of the brook, and put them in the shepherd's bag, which he had, even the scrip. Handsling was his hand, and he drew near to Palestine. And the Palestine came on, drew unto David, and David the man bore the shield before him. And when Palestine looked about and saw David, he disclaimed him, for he put but youth and ruddy, and of a fair containance. And
And Palestine said unto David, I am a dog, that you come to me with staves. And Palestine cursed David by he Elohim. And Palestine said unto David, come to me, and I will give you your flesh unto the fowls of the air, and to the beasts of the field. And said David to Palestine, you come to me with a sword, and with a spear, and with a shield. But I come to you in the name of God to Sabaoth, the Elohim of the armies of Israel, who came have defied. This day will Yah deliver into my hand, and I will smite you and take your head from you, and I will give the carcasses of the hosts of Palestine this unto the fowls of the air, and to the wild beasts of the air, that shall the earth may know there is Elohim in Israel. And all the assembly shall know that Yah saved not, but with the sword and spear for the battles of Yah. And he will give you unto your hands. And it came to pass when the Palestine arose and came to Drew nigh to meet David. And David hasted and ran towards the army to meet Palestine. And David put his hand in his bag and took a tensor stone and slang it and smoked it. Palestine in his forehead, the stone sunk into his forehead, and he fell upon his face unto the earth. And Palestine with a sling and with a stone and smote Palestine and slew him. But there was no sword in the hand of David. Therefore David ran and stood upon Palestine and took his sword and drew it out of his sheath thereof, slew him. Act 6, final act, 1 Samuel. And when Palestine saw the champion was dead, they fled. And the men of Israel, Yehuda, and shouted, pursue the Palestine until you come to the valley, to the gates of Ekron. And wounded of the Palestine fell down by the way that Sha'ariam, even unto the Gath and unto Ekron. And the children of Israel returned from chasing after the Palestine, and they spoiled the tents. And David took the head of Palestine and brought it to Yerushalayim. But he put his armor in his tent. And when Shaul said, David, go forth against the Palestine, he said unto Abner, the captain of the host, Abner, whose son is youth. And Abner said, as your soul lives, O king, I cannot tell. And the king said, inquire whose son is triple it is. And David is returned from the slaughter of Palestine. Abner took him and brought him before Shaul with the head of Palestine in his hand. And Shaul said unto him, whose son are you, you young man? And David answered, I am the son of the servant Yeshai, the Beis Hal. Lashmai, 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 yeah. Hallelujah. Stay tuned for the next one. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When he came and he knew that looks could be deceiving, that no matter how you look, you gotta have on the side and have the will of Yah.